So in the last episode, we covered command line. We covered command line because we are going to be using it throughout this tutorial series, which is called Basic Frontend Tools. So one of the most basic frontend tools that we are going to be using, and this is a pretty modern one or a new one, it's going to be called NPM, which stands for Node Package Manager. Although the guys that create this NPM page say it's called not a pancake mix, or if you refresh the page, then it's called Neolithic Populous Metropolis. And if you refresh the page again, then it's called Numerous Pools Merged, and so on. So as you can see, they have a sense of humor right here. Okay, so what is the Node Package Manager? Well, on their page, it actually says that NPM makes it easy for JavaScript developers to share and reuse code and make it easy to update code that you are sharing so you can build amazing things. Where we are not JavaScript developers, we are front-end developers, but we are going to use NPM anyway, because NPM is not just used for JavaScript stuff, it's used for everything you would need to get your front-end development environment going. So we are going to use Node Package Manager to install some dependencies for our projects. As you will see, it's nothing hard, it's nothing complicated. This is going to be just a basic video tutorial to get you acquainted with NPM. Of course, if you want to know more, then Google it. And in this episode, we are just going to run over the basics, and I'm going to show you how we will use NPM for our projects. So to use NPM, first you would need to install Node.js. And you can go to this page, npmjs.com, and get NPM. And what it says right here is NPM is distributed with Node.js, which means that when you download Node.js, you automatically get NPM installed on your computer. So what that means is you have to install Node.js on your computer. You maybe already have it installed, maybe you needed it for something else, but if you don't, you just follow this link. So download Node.js and NPM, and then since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to get these two links right here. So download for Mac OS and recommended for most users, you click right here, you get an installer and you install Node.js. If you're on Windows, these links will probably be different, and there will be for Windows. But if I go to other downloads, as you can see, I can download a Windows installer, Windows binary, Mac OS installer, Linux binaries, and so on. And if you want to install a Node.js via Package Manager for Linux machines, then I'm just going to show you for the most popular one, which is probably Ubuntu right now. So you would just do this curl, then sudo apt-get installed Node.js, and that's about it. You should have Node.js installed on your computer, so it's nothing hard. So to test out if you have Node.js and NPM installed on your computer, you can just go to your console and do node v. As you can see, I'm not running the latest version of Node.js, and to see what version of NPM you're running, you can do npm.v. So as you can see, I'm running 5.6.0. If you don't have this version of NPM, I suggest that you upgrade your NPM to the latest version, and to do that, you would just do npm install -g npm at latest. So you would just run this command right here. And of course, if your system is set up like mine, you may need to do sudo npm install g npm latest. As I already have it, I'm not going to run this command, but it should work as expected. So now you have npm installed on your computer. Let's see how you work with it. Okay, so let's say we are creating a new project and we are going to call that project npm. So we first create a directory for it, go to that directory, and now we are in npm directory. As you can see, it is empty. Now, we want to install Foundation framework, Foundation CSS framework from Zerb to use it on our project. Now, of course, we can go to our browser, go to the Foundation's webpage, go to that customization page, customize our Foundation framework, download it, and then manually add it to our project. And that's fine. But what you can also do, you can just do, first of all, npm init. So we want to initialize npm for our project. You do this only once per project. So npm init. Now, npm is going to ask you some stuff. So the package name is going to be npm. Okay, npm. It has to be all lowercase. The version is going to be 1. You don't have to fill this out, but we will do it the first time. Okay, enter point is this, test command, nothing. You can add your Git repository right here if you want. You can add some keywords, npm test. Okay, author, right, and license. Okay. Is this information correct? Yes, it is. Now, if we go ls, you can see that we have this package.json file. We will talk about that file a bit later, but for now, we want to install Foundation framework for our project. So how do you do that? Actually, pretty easy. You just do npm install Foundation sites, right? And that's it. Click enter and wait for it. As I said, npm was primarily made for doing JavaScript stuff, but as you can see, Foundation doesn't have much to do with the JavaScript. It's a CSS framework, but it also works via npm. And now if we do lsla, as you can see, we now have a package-lock.json file, package.json file, and node modules. If we go to node modules and do an ls, you can see that we have this Foundation sites, jQuery, and what input. Now, this is npm is going to install all of the packages that you need, be they Foundation or some other CSS framework or some JavaScript modules and files that you need or plugins. They will all live in this node modules folder. And if you're using something like Git, you would always Git ignore these node modules. When we cover Git, you will know what Git ignore means, or maybe you already do. You will see why, because node modules can get pretty big during the creation of your project, and you don't want to send all of those files to the server, but you will use package.json for that. As I said, I will explain this a bit later, but for now, let's just list all of the packages that we currently have in our project. To do that, you just do npm list. And now, as you can see, we have Foundation, sites, we have jQuery and what input. Now, you can see that jQuery and what input are indented in relation to Foundation site. This is because Foundation sites depends on jQuery and what input. So we got these 3 packages installed and not just Foundation sites. Also, you can see what npm packages you have globally installed. So you can do something like npm list global. Now I have a few files here, so it's taking a bit. As you can see, now we have a lot of files, and since many of them are indented, it means they're just dependencies for other packages. But if we want to just see what packages we have installed without their dependencies, we can just do depth equals 0. And now you can just see that I have this Adonis, Bower, Foundation, Grunt, Gulp, and so on. So these are the packages that I have global installed. Okay, so now you can see what packages I have global installed and what packages you have local installed. Now, as I said, there are two more files right here. So package-lock.json and package.json. So let's take a look at them. So you take a look at package.json file, you can see all the information that we added once we ran npm init, and it says all of those things right here. But what we are most interested is this dependencies. So these are the dependencies that your project depends on. And as you can see, we have foundation sites 6.4.4-RC1, so release candidate 1. So these are the dependencies for our project. And as I said before, you would not send Node modules to your server. You would just send this package.json file, because look what happens. So now we have Node modules right here. If I do rf Node modules to delete that directory, and now we don't have it anymore. So once you put this on GitHub or somewhere, or just send to your colleague can take this directory, and since it doesn't have Node modules, what he can do, he can just do npm install without foundation sites, without anything. Since we have this package.json file right here, it's going to tell to npm which packages this project depends on. So if we do ls again, you can see that we have Node modules installed, and if we do npm list, now you can see that we have foundation sites, jQuery, what input, and so on. Okay, so let's try to delete Node modules once again. Okay, we don't have them right here. So let's install another version of foundation sites. So npm install foundation sites, and if we want a specific version, we can just do at 6.2. And now it's going to install foundation sites 6.2. And if we look at package.json again, we can now see that foundation sites is at version 6.2.4. Okay, we go out and let's take a look at package.lock.json. So as you can see, we have these dependencies right here. So we have jQuery, we have what input, and where is foundation sites version 6.2.4. So what does this file do? As we said, package.json defines our dependencies so that we can send our project to our colleagues and they can install their dependencies. But package.json file, package-lock.json files locks the version of our dependencies. So we have to have this file so that when somebody gets our project, the node will install, actually in npm will install the exact version of dependencies that we are currently using. If we didn't have this file, then node would just install the newest version of that file, and not the newest version, but the version with major versioning of 6 right here. So this is what this caret right here means. So it's going to take the latest version of foundation, which begins with 6, and these two numbers it's going to ignore. So it's going to just match the number 6. So we have to have package-lock.json file. This is actually pretty new to npm. It didn't previously didn't create these log files, but in the newer version it does. Also, one more thing, if you didn't update your npm, the dependency won't be added to your package.json file if you don't do something like npm install, and then you should do save dev. So this is for the older versions of npm. You have to use this save dev flag to update your package.json file, but since newer versions of npm, you don't have to have it. You just install npm install and the name of the package that you want to install. So now if we want to update foundation sites, we would just do npm update and then foundation sites. Now we want to update the sites, and it's also going to update our package.json and package-lock file. So now our version is 6.4.3. If we check out the JSON file, as you can see, 6.4.3, and if we go to package-lock.json, it's also going to be 6.4.3. So this is one more benefit of using the npm, is that you can easily update the packages that you're using. Also, of course, you may want to search for some npm packages, and to do that you just do npm search, and then let's just say gulp. So if I search for gulp, you will see all the packages that contain gulp in it, with some sort of description, author, date, and so on. And of course you can always uninstall packages. So npm uninstall foundation sites. And now if we look at the package log file, you see that we don't have anything in it. Okay, let's just go through all of it once again. I'm just going to install a few packages right here. So npm install nope, not that. npm install foundation sites. We're just going to take the latest version. So when you don't have a version right here, it's just going to take the latest one. Let's install gulp, and let's install gulp sass. Okay, now that this is done, I can list all the packages. And as you can see, we have a lot of dependencies because we installed gulp and gulp sass. So if we npm list with depth of 0, but not globally, you can actually see that we only have 3 major packages that we need, and all of those packages are dependencies for gulp and gulp sass and foundation sites. Okay, so let's do another thing. I'm just going to go to cd, go one directory back, make another directory called npm test. And now I'm going to copy the package.json file from the npm directory. So cp, my home directory, npm package.json. I'm just going to copy it right here. And now if I list it all out, I will have package.json. And if I want to install all of the dependencies, I would just do npm install. And if I do npm list with a depth of 0, I get foundation sites, gulp and gulp sass in this npm test directory. So this is the power of Node Package Manager, that you can just move projects from one place to another and install dependencies. And as I said, you don't send the node modules file to the server, you just send this one, and when another person gets that file, they will just run npm install and get all of the dependencies. And also, as you can see, Node Package Manager automatically created package-lock.json file. I kind of expected this episode to be a little bit shorter, but it's around 20 minutes now, even a little bit more. Okay, so this is it for this episode. We covered NPM in it. In the next episode, we are going to be covering gulp. So we needed to cover this NPM so that I can show you how you can install gulp and how to use gulp. Of course, if you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved this episode, you can subscribe to my channel. If you want to ask me questions, you can do that via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, GitHub, and so on. And also, if you want to send some money my way, you can do that via Patreon. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.